You're listening to Children of the Watch. I'm Mac Lacey.
And I'm Alex Maxwell, and today we are continuing with the Mandalorian Rewatch with the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian. If you're new to our podcast, we break down every single episode of Star Wars television, scene by scene, to analyze the story, find cone for Easter eggs, and explain how it all connects to the larger Star Wars universe. And we are doing this with the rewatch as we look forward to the Mandalorian and Grogu premiering this year. We can finally say that it's coming this year. And today, we are joined by some very special guests and friends of the podcast, Lacey and John from the Resistance broadcast. What's up, guys?
Hello.
How's it going, fellas? Thanks for having us. Really excited to talk about The Mandalorian / Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, it's the Mandalorian.
It's the Mandalorian now.
It's the Mandalorian.
Yeah. From here on out, it's basically the Mandalorian. Man, you guys, I always say this. You guys are my favorite Star Wars podcast, and I'm so honored that you guys came to join us. But I do have a question for you guys before we even jump into everything. So we've got Maul Shadow Lord. At the time of this recording, the trailer is coming tomorrow, which the teaser for the trailer was like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
Amazing. And then we have new leadership at Lucasfilm within the last week. And we've got a Star Wars movie in theaters in 119 days. How are you guys feeling about the overall state of Star Wars right now?
You talk first, I talk first.
You go first.
So it's funny. I know I said it to you guys before we were recording. We've had the longest sort of layoff from podcasting due to vacations and our kids getting us sick from school and stuff. So we haven't really podcasted in a month. So tomorrow, or when this comes out tonight, we're going to be doing like our catch up on everything. But it's been a lot after such dormancy in news and stuff like that. Like we all knew the Kathleen Kennedy thing was coming because she said it last year. So no one should have been surprised by that. And we all sort of thought Filoni would be the person. So I'm okay. I'm feeling good about that. I don't think that's going to change. We're not going to see a big change with that for the next few years because there's already things that have been in development that are coming out. Starfighter, the Simon Kinberg trilogy, all that stuff has Kathleen Kennedy's hands in the clay. So we'll see. We got to check in a little bit down the road with that stuff. But Maul Shadow Lord, as excited as you sounded, Alex, talking about it, that's how I felt watching that very artistic looking intro. And I am a heavy live action person first, but when I saw that, I love Rebels. I'm not the biggest Clone Wars fan, but I knew when I saw the announcement of Shadow Lord that I was going to be all in on this. So I'm very excited for that, which I think, did they give it a release? Is it this summer? Something like that?
I don't know. I'm sure we're going to get it when the trailer drops in terms of like the premiere.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping March.
And
I'm hoping it's earlier.
For the listener, the trailer will be out. When this is being recorded,
right now, it's probably out right now.
You know, I think when you're listening, you'll probably have the advantage
in
of
the year 3000.
exactly.
Yeah, I would assume it's coming out probably before The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Wow.
Like this is the spring thing that they're putting out. Because last time they usually put like animated series.
Like February.
I'm pretty sure like Clone Wars, Bad Batch, all this stuff always came out in the spring, leading into what was coming out later, like Andor or whatever, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I thought your question was going to be, is it weird every time I come on and I hear my name and it's not me? And I was going to say yes, every time.
And we even both have the E. Not everybody has the E.
I know. Do you get a lot of lackey? Because I get that. I get lackey, Lacey.
Yeah. I mean, I think I get Lacey most, but it's a lot of people will think that I'm going to be a woman and that's my first name, and are surprised when I show up. So
yes, I apologize to people listening because video it's a little bit more forgiving because I don't look like death, but I sound like death. So I apologize to people listening. My thoughts of Star Wars right now is if I could go back to like. I think it was like 2018 was when the first show we did about Kathleen Kennedy getting fired. It was with John Roca. It was like years and years and years and years ago. And I sat there and I was like, she's going to leave on her own terms. And then now she's leaving on her own terms. If I go back and just high five Lacey back then, I'd be like, you got it, girl. Way to go. But that's not to say she hasn't been pushed out, if we're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
But I am happy with what she's done. I think she should be nothing but proud of the legacy that she's left for Lucasfilm, and hopefully some of the projects that she discussed, including obviously Ben Solo, end up being made. That being said, I do look forward to a change. A change is always good. I'm okay with it, and I trust Dave Filoni. I like that it's not just him, because I don't think I agree with every single choice and decision he makes. One of my ongoing jokes with John is that he shoves Ahsoka into like everything, and he like will show up in meetings randomly and be like, you know what would be really great in this is if we added Ahsoka. If like Ahsoka just showed up, and everyone's like, okay, sure.
Sure.
And I mean that with all the love possible.
Sure.
Before someone
Plo
hates on
Koon.
me. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
No, I'm excited. There's a Star Wars movie this year that's insane. The last time we had one was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
You're not
So, yeah, I'm pretty pumped.
Okay, speaking of that Star Wars movie, that's why we're doing this rewatch for people and getting ready for the movie. How are you guys feeling specifically about The Mandalorian and Grogu? Like, are you waiting on that first official trailer to like really feel the hype, or did the teasers, all three different versions of them that we got, did that kind of do it for you? How are you guys feeling about it right now?
For me, it was being in Japan at Celebration and seeing. It wasn't really a trailer; it was almost like a little part of a scene, and it takes place in that snowy mountain. I don't know if that part's been shown or not, but it has to do with the AT-ATs and Mando getting right inside of it and all that. Mm-hmm. That really set me on fire because I've loved Jon Favreau since Swingers. Like I'm talking 1996. I was I don't know, 8th grade, 9th grade or whatever, and my friends and I all like that movie. And then he does Iron Man and Elf and all that stuff. So I've been a fan of his forever. So I've been rooting for him. When he got Star Wars, I'm like, yes. And then when people have been doing this whole thing about, it's just going to be Star Wars TV on the big screen, I'm like, well, it's Jon Favreau. Let's not forget Jon Favreau's making a movie, and Jon Favreau makes really good movies. So I've been in this sort of like, I'm feeling okay no matter what. Yeah. So it hasn't necessarily been the footage I've seen or anything like that. I'm going in expecting a really good Star Wars movie. I don't think it's going to shatter lore necessarily on this one. I don't think it's going to change how we view the galaxy, like maybe some other movies we're going to see, but we're going to get one of those classic swashbuckling adventures that reminds us why we love the Clan of Two. And with Favreau at the helm, I'm very, very confident and comfortable. My only fear, or not fear, because that's, the dark side. My hope is that the general audiences come in too and help support this movie, because that's really what makes this stuff work. We're all going to be there. We're going to see it multiple times. They have us. They know that. It's my brother. It's the coworkers. It's those people who like Star Wars. Oh yeah, Baby Yoda big screen. Maybe I'll pile the kids into the minivan and we'll go check it out. That's who I hope get pulled in by this. And for that, we need some more external marketing going on to push this movie. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope to see that too. I'm hyped. I honestly think this movie is going to be basically the episode that we're about to talk about. Where he goes on an adventure, meets a bunch of people, they throw some Easter eggs and fan service in there, and it just leaves you with that good Star Wars feeling of like, when I was little, this is the adventure I would dream up.
Yep.
Which is what Favreau's all about, is like playing in the sandbox with his toys. So I think it's going to be really fun. I like John said, I don't think it's going to like change my life. I don't think it's going to be a cinematic experience of, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, like when I saw Parasite for the first time, like it stuck with me for weeks on end. I think this is going to be super, super fun. I think I'm going to love it. There's going to be so many puppets, which is like my thing. I'm all about it. Give me all the creatures all the time. But I think it's just going to be another great addition to the Star Wars ethos movie collection.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. And I don't think you should go in with higher expectations.
Yep.
Because then when you leave, you're going to have a smile on your face.
Exactly.
I'd rather go in and be pleasantly surprised than go in and be like, this didn't change my life. Because I don't think it will, to be honest.
Yeah. And if it does, awesome.
Yes.
But I'm with you. I think the way that you just described it, it's the episode we're about to talk about. that is kind of what I've been thinking that it would be. And this is one of my favorite episodes of Star Wars television. Like I'm putting it up there with Andor just on a personal level. I know it's very different than Andor, but man, the first time I watched this and every single time I watch this episode since then, I have such a good time with it. It's just fun. It's just a really fun thing. And I think you're spot on, Lacey. I think that's exactly what the movie is going to be like. It's just fun. And John, I think you're totally right too, of like, if they can nail the marketing and especially get families in and like,
yeah.
I'm almost kind of imagining, Lucasfilm, if you're listening, kind of like the Lilo and Stitch type marketing of like, put baby Yoda or Grogu everywhere. You know what I mean? And like,
absolutely.
He's going to be in the
on
popcorn.
everything.
They're going to have an animatronic
Cereals, all of it
around.
He's in a whatever sports
Mando's
thing.
Going to walk into
He's there.
screenings. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I would, if you can grab families, I think it will do really, really well.
Yeah.
So all that to say, we've got a before the trailer prediction show coming up. So next week we're doing episode 6 and 7 together, and we'll be finishing the Book of Boba Fett. And then the week after that, we're going to do a before the trailer releases, because we're expecting a full actual trailer around the Super Bowl time. At least that's what the rumors say. We'll see. So call into the voicemail hotline and you can get your prediction on the show, 205-259-6675. That's 205-259-6675. If you mess up, hang up, try again. We're going to use your best one. Keep it under 3 minutes. If it goes on longer than that, you get cut off. So try to
as
keep
you
it.
should.
Yeah, right. It's like, come on. Yeah.
This is our show. Don't be
Start
taking
your
up
own
our
podcast.
airtime, you know? Exactly.
Get out of
exactly.
here.
I grew up on AM sports radio, so it's like if they were going too long, they would just goodbye, you're out.
Yep.
Flush them. All right. So speaking of predictions, and we're on the topic of the Mandalorian and Grogu, do either of you have a quick prediction for the movie? I know you're saying, okay, it's not going to break lore. It's not going to be like this huge thing, but is there like something that you're like, I bet this is going to be in the movie, and I'm putting it on wax. This is going to happen.
I feel like we've done this several times, John, and I can never remember what I say. And then people are like, you said blank, and I'll be like, did I? The only thing I've said recently is like, I think Rey showing up in Starfighter. Like that's my
for sure
push. But for this one, shifting back to this, is it crazy to say Grogu's gonna talk? Is that crazy?
That's a good
That's
one.
a pretty
like
simple
that
one that's straightforward that I think is gonna happen because they can't keep doing this baby stuff.
Yeah, he says,
especially if like,
Ferrick.
yeah, I just like don't. For me, look, I adore the baby stuff because I love babies.
Sure.
I have 2 children.
Sure.
However, it gets a little old. You're like, this thing.
It's time to grow up, kid.
We need the next
He's
step.
talking to Ahsoka and stuff through the mind, and he can't say some words. So, yeah,
I agree with that one.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
talk.
like that.
I don't know where Yoda's lightsaber is, and I know.
I think Luke has it still.
So
Ooh.
I think Grogu has that thing, and he's gonna break it out in the 3rd act.
I like
Oh,
that.
that's what we talked about because we were talking about the
Yeah,
Yoda in.
You can't.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, who, like we say, loves playing with his toys, and he's an old school
Yeah.
Star Wars kid. Lightsabers, say what you want about how great the storytelling of Star Wars is. People love lightsabers, and you can't. I mean,
do.
I don't know if we're getting a resurrected Darksaber. I doubt it at this point. Maybe later. I don't know. I think we are getting a lightsaber in this movie, and the way Favreau's going to do it, because he's not going to make a Star Wars movie without having a lightsaber in it, is Grogu's going to have off-screen gotten that thing, and they're going to be in a really tough spot where you think, oh, look at he was swimming and he was doing this, and he's going to be like, Mando, I got this, and he's going to do the
But what if
Yoda, like
Luke
the little
throws it to
reveal.
Yeah.
He's going to get the little lightsaber, and he's going to go ham on somebody. So I think that's going to happen.
Oh, R5D4 shoots it out the top.
That's what I'm
his,
saying.
instead of
Why does he already
R2D2?
have it? I'm saying
Yeah.
who gives it to him?
Yeah. So we do the Return of the Jedi thing again.
Oh man,
But it's
All
from
right.
a different droid. Yeah.
All right.
I think that's self-referential enough for the Mandalorian. I think
Yes,
that
I
works.
think it is.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost
And
there.
Mando's like, R5, why are you dressed as a bartender?
Just because. I gotta get in the spirit of it. All right, so let's talk about this episode, Chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, Return of the Mandalorian. The director is Bryce Dallas Howard. She's probably my favorite. Like, anytime I know she is directing an episode, I just know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really hope she gets an opportunity to do a Star Wars movie very soon. Because the way that she frames shots, the way that she is a storyteller within Star Wars, I vibe with it. Like, I'm 100% on board.
I agree completely. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I love Ron Howard. I love Solo. I always thought if they did Solo 2, she would be a perfect candidate for that. But I also like that she's a lot different than how Ron Howard shoots things. She's not just the carbon copy, fruit falls from the tree from which it grew. But I agree. I feel like in watching this episode, she gets the most out of what she has to work with, and everything you hear about her and those behind the scenes stuff is how she's story driven first. She really has these one-on-ones with these actors and really just makes it mean something. And you see that because we'll get into it. The level of character journey that Mando goes through in this one episode is so big, and that she's able to bring that to us in 45 minutes in someone else's show, incredibly impressive.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah,
and I think she's such a big fan herself that she's just gets it.
Yeah.
The range of this episode. I mean, we start, with almost kind of like a detective feeling type story, and there's action, but then there's so many quiet moments, and then there's comedic moments on Tatooine. There's just
two
so
different
much
episodes smashed together almost is kind of what it feels like. She's wonderful, and I hope she gets more things, and I can't wait to see her episodes of Ahsoka season 2 this year as well. Of course, the writer is Jon Favreau. The premiere was January 26, 2022.
Oh my God, it's so long ago.
How does that make you feel?
4 years ago. The last Winter Olympics, okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're totally right. All right, so let's get into this. And what an entrance we start with this episode, as the Mandalorian is hunting for a Klatooinian called Kaba Baez, and he's inside a Klatooinian meatpacking kitchen. I don't know what this is. It's a typical mobster kind of hideout. I feel like we've seen this in The Sopranos and stuff like that. And he's looking.
Are you suggesting that this is Star Wars Satriales? Is that
yes?
Okay.
Yes, it's the same thing. I think these two are the meat on the hangers are Nerfs.
Those are Nerfs.
So
those are Nerfs.
A Nerf herder would have had to deliver them to the. Okay, I got it.
Yep. Star Wars.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we're talking Star Wars here, baby. So. He goes in and he sees the Klatooinian sitting there. He has that back and forth with him. He's like, "That's clearly not me," and it's very clearly him because he's got the piercings on his nose and stuff. And then he delivers the line again: "I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold." But the delivery, I thought, from Pedro in this particular instance, it's almost like he's like, "I have to say it." Instead of like, I get to say it. You can tell right away from the beginning of this episode, there's a piece of him missing. Like it's almost like he's sad, or he's like doing things in anger. Even this whole fight sequence that happens is pretty brutal in terms of like how he is. It's just like he was before Grogu, but not so much after Grogu. And he's kind of returned back to that a little bit. Like we see him in the very first season.
Kind of feels like he's going through the
one.
motions a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of sorry, Mac, go ahead.
You're all good. I was just gonna say, like, he had his life changed. This little being came into his life and showed him a whole new galaxy of possibilities, and to try to move on after losing that aspect, we see him in a very different position starting out. That's a great observation.
Yeah, he didn't have a family. He didn't have anything. He was a loner who was a bounty hunter. And this kid changed his whole life. And then when you take that away, what am I? The only thing I know how to do is be a bounty hunter. And it really, like this opening scene really reminded me a lot of what Han Solo was saying in The Force Awakens when he lost his son. He's like, I went back to the only thing I was ever good at.
Yep.
And that's exactly what the Mandalorian's doing here. But I agree with all of you. There's something missing, and it's so crazy to say that with a guy behind a mask, but the sort of frustrated, slumping, tired body language is a little different than when he walked into the cantina in episode chapter 1. And he does deliver the line, but it is a little different, and he is a little bit more brutal and cold with how he's executing this here. He's more menacing and mean, almost like the Vader hallway-ish a little bit.
He's chopping people in half.
Yeah. And I know he did that with the door with the one guy, but it's different when you have the actual thing that's cutting the person. It's a little more personal. So it's like that opening of Mando, but you can tell there's a darkness to him now. And I like that they're showing that parallel. They're like, here's the Mandalorian again without Grogu. But he's a little different. And he goes through quite the journey before he gets to the armorer, for sure.
I mean, I guess in his defense, when like a dog person bites you on the hand, that's probably, that's going to set me off too. And that's really kind of what starts the fight.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best idea against a Mandalorian, but to each his own. It doesn't work out for him. And he does ignite the Darksaber, and it's really cool. Like, I remember thinking, like, oh, wow, he's got the Darksaber now. This is going to be incredible. He's going to be Mandalore. He's going to lead. But from the get-go, even in this fight, you can see how heavy it is for him. And I really like the consistency of that from Star Wars Rebels, of like when Kanan was talking to Sabine of, hey, it's going to be heavier for you if you're not connecting with it, if you're not like letting go of the things that are holding you back. And so like that's very present here. And then of course the armorer is going to echo that too later in the episode. But I love that. Like it's so heavy. He even kind of like burns himself with the Darksaber a little bit and kind of gives himself an injury. And then he kills Cabo Baez. He just he cuts him in half, takes his head, goes out there and says, listen, that's not my money. You guys can have it. But if you just let me go, we'll call it even.
It's very, very Man with No Name Clint Eastwood type of thing.
Yeah.
Like wreck house, be like, I wasn't here for the money. I'm here for just what I came for. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it sets the tone for this episode so well, and it tells you everything you need to know about like what Din is going through. Like you get the sense that there's been some time since the end of season 2 to now. Like there has been significant time without Grogu. Maybe not as much as we thought originally, but there has been some time. And then we get the title credits, which is the Book of Boba Fett theme fused with the Mandalorian theme, which is just like, come on, Ludwig.
Can we talk about his entrance for a second, though?
Let's do that.
Because that's one of the coolest parts of this episode, and I know people use it all the time. I use it all the time on Twitter. It's like the Mandalorian shot. And I don't know if you guys remember how you felt when we watched this for the first time.
Yeah.
But I remember the episode before, we get his theme at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, he's coming back, because we hadn't seen him for a while.
I forgot about that.
And then for him to come through the doors again, like I said this on our show, and I still stand by it. It is one of the hottest scenes in Star Wars for him to walk through that grocery store door. Like the swagger, the swagger that comes off of him. You're like, oh my God. And then he's like, I'm going to murder everyone. You're like, okay, sure.
Please.
Why not? Go ahead.
Murder me.
Yeah. Okay. And then the intro comes in. Sure.
Yeah,
but it is one of the best character intros I've ever seen in my life. And
agree.
the shot is so good too. Like the way Bryce like hangs on the door for a little bit and you see his outline before you fully see him. It's just so sick. And the lighting's really cool too, because they backlight him.
Yes. And you can see the Beskar spear, so you know it's not Boba Fett. So it's like, okay, we're cooking with gas now. We're back, baby. So yeah, and then you get the title credits fused of the two songs. Really, really cool. And then we get like a really cool kind of Star Wars. You don't know what you're looking at first, but you know you're in space and you're seeing some sort of maybe a ship and you're not sure. And then as the camera pans more and more, you see this ring world. And I'm telling you, I am in love with this place. The production design of this ring world, I think it's a great new design for Star Wars. Of course, we've seen similar things like this before in science fiction, but never in like a Star Wars setting. I love everything about it. I love how the like nearby star creates the shadow passing over.
Yeah, the use
like,
of light.
Yeah, it's like very quick day and night. You better get some blackout curtains if you live on this world because you are not getting 8 hours of sleep at night.
No.
This is
amongst all the death and other things too.
Of course, right. But this is, man, I love this play. I love whoever came up with this idea. Bravo. I love this place.
Yeah, it's a really original feeling urban environment for Star Wars. It really feels like a lived-in mega city type thing. It just captures my imagination. I could see like an entire series set on this ring world,
please.
Just and the politics of how all that works, and I wonder how is the municipal system set up? I don't know. It just really captures my imagination.
Yeah,
it's how I pictured Galaxy's Edge would be.
Ooh,
honestly, it's like him walking around with like different creatures and stuff, and like just like the sounds that you experience while watching this episode. The sound design is really great, and it makes you feel like you said, like lived in, like you're actually there.
Yeah.
It's also just interesting seeing Din walk around in that environment, being all suited up in the armor, and he looks
the best walk.
Kind of out of place, but not he looks out of place socially, but not out of place in the world. I like it.
Still a loner,
but also like very like, I'm not in the mood today.
Yep.
So get out of my way.
Yep. Absolutely.
When they invited him to sit down, he's like, no.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about that shot? Like I'm pretty sure it's one shot. I don't know how they did it unless there's like a secret cut that I can't decipher, but he gets to the elevator. It appears like it goes up. I think what they do is they spin it around and then he goes on to a different set, walks around, comes back, and then they spin it around again as he goes. It's an incredible shot. Like, I love it. And it's just, and as he's walking to the elevator, the music, it kind of transitions into like this underworld type music too. Like, it's just everything about this is like, God, this is so cool. I freaking love Star Wars, man. I love Star Wars.
The
Bryce loves some good
blocking.
Too. Yeah, she loves good blocking. So him going up the elevator and then coming out and going around the booth, or the camera going around the booth, that's a steady camera that like someone walked with him and they blocked it out and decided where they were going to go. And I remember when it aired, people were like, they did it in one take. And I was like, I mean, they probably did like 40 takes, but yeah, they did do it
right
in one take. But it looks just so smooth because you're with him the whole time. And that's to create the intimacy of you with the Mandalorian when he's on this trip. You never leave his side. Just like Grogu doesn't leave his side. So you're very much filling that void that he now has of him by himself.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful shot. And of course, like he brings the head to the Ishitib gangster who I guess wanted Kaba Baya's dead, and the Ishitib gives the information to Din, like he is looking for the covert. That's what he's actually there for.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of an exchange. And I remember watching this for the first time and thinking, we are so back. Like we are going back to like season 1 Mandalorian. And I think that's why I enjoy this episode so much is like, okay, now that he's had the journey of seasons 1 and 2 to return back to kind of what you know and see how it's different for you. I think that's, I guess, part of the hero's journey. I, for one, really was excited to see the armor again. And then, like when he's walking through and he's got the Mando vision and you see all the symbols, you're like, oh boy, here we go. Mm-hmm. And then he finally sees the Mythosaur skull. and he goes down into the depths of the ring world, like kind of underneath in the substrata of the ring world. And I always find that fascinating. We always want to point this out with The Mandalorian, is it seems like the children of the Watch, not us, the podcast, but the covert, they always hide underground. And we kind of connect that to like almost like a spiritual Mines of Mandalore, right? The Mines of Mandalore are underneath Mandalore. And so it's almost like we are trying to get down to the Beskar or whatever. You know, it's like there's something in them that like we have to get underground because that's just what we're used to. That's what we do. That's
how we survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's symbolic. It more literally, and I might be a moron.
No, I think it is literal, but their
whole crew got bombed, which you see that, which we'll get into, but that they're like, oh, we're going underground because our whole people got wiped out via bombs, and you can't bomb aground once you're underground.
It works on multiple levels.
Yes. No, I'm saying I'm the idiot. Right. I didn't see it your way. I was like, oh, so they hide underground because they got bombed, and you guys were like, it's like more of like, and I'm like, oh, no, it is. You're right.
No, I actually think that that's a very good practical observation because, I mean, and you know, in any kind of religious environment, practical things can often become symbolic, spiritual, metaphorical things as well. So,
which is heartbreaking, by the way, that they show that, which this is kind of the real first view that we see with the whole. Those are K2 droids, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Very Terminator of them.
Very creepy.
Yeah, so I love this scene. And then when you get to the armor and she's just sitting there almost meditating with her hammer and tongs, it's like, what are you doing, you psychopath? I love you. And then, of course, Paz Vizsla is back. And it's, again, like kind of just a return to season one, a return to form. And he's there, and Paz is tending to his leg and using a Bacta spray to kind of heal him up. And then he mentions that he has the Darksaber, and he pulls it out right in front of Paz. And then, of course, like this is actually the first time we get his name, because before this, we just knew him as Heavy, or like Heavy Entry. Like, we knew he was probably a Vizsla because Jon Favreau voiced him and stuff, but
right.
She calls him Paz Vizsla, and he is eyeing that Darksaber hardcore.
As he should.
As he should. It's family heirloom.
He has the familial ties. I think he would view it as part of his like birthright in a way, being, you know, the last representative of Clan Vizsla. We assume the last Vizsla. I don't know.
Kylo Ren being obsessed with Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. It's the same thing. Yep. It's just sort of like, no, why should you have it? My great uncle made that, or, you know, great uncle's uncle's uncle.
Right. No, okay. So when Paz takes the Darksaber to the armorer, an interesting thing that I think we've got to address is that Din had no idea about the Darksaber. So the armorer never like relayed that information to the covert. It seems like only she and Paz probably knew about that. And it seems like maybe she was trying to get away from that idea of like, whoever holds this rules Mandalore. But now that Din has it, it's like, okay, I guess I have to explain this to you now. Because Din had no idea what it actually like represented. And she kind of lays out the rules of like, okay, the Darksaber must be won by Creed in battle. Even though in season 3, I'm not so sure that's actually how it plays out, because that creepy thing underneath Mandalore is technically, he wins the Darksaber at some point. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's Mandalore.
But it wasn't like an official, it wasn't like I'm challenging you for the Darksaber, and that's kind of how I took it, of like, you have to challenge him for it. I don't know, maybe not.
The Mandalorians love technicalities, but they love loopholes even more. They love, you know, it's a theme we see all throughout the show, all throughout the Clone Wars, and especially reconciling the Clone Wars with the Mandalorian show.
They're more like guidelines than rules.
Yeah. So she kind of inadvertently lays the blame of Mandalore's destruction at Bo-Katan's feet, because she mentions, like, if you take the Darksaber when you're not supposed to, it's going to bring a curse upon all of Mandalore. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's not good.
She's really delightful, honestly.
Right. And so they're setting up the forge, and he's mentioning how he beat Moff Gideon for it, and he didn't kill Moff Gideon, and that he's going to stand trial. And both of them are kind of like, yeah, sure he is. Yeah. That's definitely going to happen. And this kind of section is where we get a lot of lore about Mandalore and kind of what happened.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Since Star Wars Rebels to now, like what's going on with the Mandalorians. And the armor starts to guilt trip Din into, number one, giving the spear up. Like, where'd you get that spear? It's made of Beskar. We don't use stuff like this, okay? Because Beskar is supposed to protect, not hurt. So
I love that idea. Like,
I like the
even
spear though. I really like this. I wanted him to keep the spear.
I like it. I like it that Beskar means so much to Mandalorians, and it's part of their familial line. Armor's passed down. It's there's such like a spiritual significance for them. I like that philosophy of like, no, we have tons of weapons, we love weapons, but Beskar is only for armor.
And the path of that weapon, we are introduced to it in the Jedi, I believe. And how that's made, likely provided to Elsbeth from Imperial remnents, maybe possibly
from
after the Siege of Mandalore. So and to see, for them to see that piece of precious metal shaped into something that goes against what they use it for, and then he has it in addition to having the dark saber, they're probably like,
you got
what
too much,
is
dude.
going on with this guy right now? We want to like it. We don't
What
have
kind of
many
journey
left.
did you go on?
You got the
People
helmet.
had to die for that, man.
You got everything we need. Just stop screwing up the guidelines. Apologies. Yeah.
No, for real though. Like, because she even says like, the darksaber is a much more noble weapon for you to wield.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm actually reminded of Rebels. Sabine and the Duchess weapon. She was like exiled and cast out of Mandalorian society for creating something that specifically can harm Mandalorians and hurt them and that kind of thing. I think the spear is a small version of that. It's a weapon that specifically makes Mandalorians vulnerable. So I like them.
Okay, you won me over.
Repurposing it.
Do they hold Beskar in the regard of the fact that it's hard to come across, or that it means a lot to them as a culture? Because I like to look for parallels and stuff like that, and like that stuff made me think of how like Chirrut Imwe and the Keeper of the Wills looked at Kyber. And then you look at the Empire and they're like, we're just going to farm the crap out of everything, use this to kill people with it. And it's like, that's sort of similar in that way. They're using Beskar to protect themselves, to protect their kind, not to hurt people with it, to protect themselves. And then people are taking it, they're destroying them and using it to make weapons. Same story with what was going on with Kyber. Yeah.
Gorman Silk.
Gorman Silk. Yes, Lacey. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, the Empire just sucks.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Those bastards.
Yeah.
They just take everything. They suck.
I don't like these guys. I think they're the bad guys.
Spoilers.
The armor goes on to say House Kree's lost sight of the way of like they're a noble house that has lost complete control of like what it means to be a Mandalorian. Of course she would say that. And then we get the flashback of A Night of 1,000 Tears, and we see the TIE bombers over Mandalore dropping what looks like nuclear weapons on the dome cities, which like already ruined by nuclear weapons. Just let's pile it on. But we have always had a hard time like placing this in the timeline. Wikipedia says that this happens after the original trilogy. To me, it makes more sense for this to happen almost like immediately after Bo-Katan gets it in Star Wars Rebels, and because it takes the Mandalorians as a faction out of like the Rebels can't use them, Empire can't use them. They're just kind of done sitting the sidelines for the original trilogy. It makes more sense to happen almost right after Bo-Katan gets the darksaber, of like Thrawn orders maybe a ISB agent, Moff Gideon, like pull the trigger. let's get these guys out of here. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that actually. Yeah, because then you're looking at right before Battle of Yavin type of time. It like you said, it explains no heavy involvement or presence during the Galactic Civil War, which is, the meat and potatoes core of Star Wars. So it's the same, like how they had to work Ahsoka around. I like that angle.
Yeah. I choose to believe that, even though I don't think that's the case.
Along with all of that, there's also the tidbit that gets dropped that the reason that the Children of the Watch were kind of unaffected and get to survive is because they were already on Concordia. So in our rewatch at the beginning, we've been talking a lot about the timeline of when the Children of the Watch would have split from kind of mainline Mandalorianism and all of that kind of stuff. This at least puts us that it's already happened. It's not a result of the Night of a Thousand Tears or the Purge or anything like that. It's already happened. So it's some other event in the past. Who knows how long ago?
I think it's more evidence in the column of they're definitely Death Watch, and they've just rebranded themselves in the time since the Clone Wars, and they're on Concordia. Lacey and John, we've kind of gone back and forth of like, are the Children of the Watch an older group that like Death Watch splintered off from, and not vice versa, where it's like most people think Death Watch was first and Children of the Watch came next. But if they're always on Concordia, is it possible Death Watch was like, hey, let's not just hide here, let's go actually like do something about this, and then split off and created Death Watch? I think we'll get some answers on that in the future. I don't know if it actually matters. But they're on Concordia, which is where Death Watch was stationed. I mean, that's where Vizsla was in the Clone Wars. He was the governor of Concordia in that very first episode, the Mandalorian plot. So I think it's more evidence that they're Death Watch related, besides the name Watch.
That's kind of logical to me. They do seem very like almost monkish and like fundamentalists in a way.
Oh, for sure.
Old school, and they're called like radicals, but they're going by the original way that Mandalorians can best sustain. And she hammers that home in this episode too, Din Djarin. She says that a bunch. There were some who, broke off. They didn't follow the way, and the ones who followed the way survived. And, she keeps peppering that home. And then you have Din, who's like, well, I took my helmet off and I won this thing in battle, but I didn't kill the guy. And
I also took on this kid.
So close. You were so close.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about this episode is because like, we've had this debate on the podcast so many times of like, are the Children of the Watch bad guys? Because I think heading into season 3, especially the way that after the duel happens of like between Paz Vizsla and Din, and he has to admit, I took my helmet off, and they basically exile him and say, good luck, because there's no way to get down to the mines of Mandalore and actually bathe yourself, so you're done. Not a cool thing to do, right? Like that's not, we don't like that. So we've had this debate so many times, and heading into season 3, we were very kind of like, I'm pretty sure the armor is a bad guy.
I think we were thinking that too.
Yeah. Even up to the point of like before the finale, we were like kind of like, because the episode before was called The Spies, and we're like, who's the spies?
Like, there's a rat, there's a mole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think even during season 3, I think we were like, something's going on. She's
season 1, I thought that. Yeah. She's always just like, you're the worst. Get out of here. I like every episode you're like,
Emily Swallow impression.
Oh, thanks. I'm also very sick, so it sounds like even better.
That helps.
It sounds like distorted. Yeah. No, like I just every time she talks to him, she's just like, "You're a moron."
Yeah,
and he's just like, "Okay, sure, yes,
you're right. I am. Please tell me that more."
And it's so much worse with no enthusiasm. Yeah, just like you are an idiot forevermore.
Why would you do
of,
this?
Part of me thinks that still might be on the table of like, I don't know. Like, I really
is that the big twist of the movie? She's behind it all. No, I don't know.
Let's get Emily Swallow back on the show and ask her. We should. No, but like, there's nuance to this, right? I think there's aspects of the Children of the Watch, not the podcast, that are like...
Yeah, we're good guys. We're 100% all the way down good.
100% not a cult.
No nuance.
Sure.
It's just
I'm
we're
not
positive.
good.
It's good.
I am a cult. So I'm glad we're determining who's who on here.
100% not a cult.
The
but
worst.
Please pay us on Patreon and we will send you a prayer blanket. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't know. It's nuanced because there's aspects of them that I think are totally cool. Like, man, I love like how mysterious and like almost Jedi or Sith like this all feels like with Mandalorians, and like how I don't know, there's just something like really cool mythic about the way they operate. But then there's moments like this after that they have this duel and Din still wins the Darksaber and Paz doesn't, and then he's forced to say, yeah, I took off my helmet, and they exile him, call him an apostate. Not cool, you know? And so I think...
I feel like they're constantly kicking him out, though. Like, all the time. They're like, just get out of here.
Hey,
and then
we actually don't like you, man.
He keeps coming back. And they're like,
we're moving for a
we
reason.
left you.
Are they... Because I always saw them as almost like a SEAL team where, like, because in chapter 3, or whenever they just, like, rolled in to help out Mando...
Yeah.
They were so tactical and efficient and quiet and stealth. Like, they have their stuff together so much that I feel like anybody who's off that path and not dialed into what they're doing is going to make the whole thing crumble. So they're very like skeptical of this guy because of these sort of like willy-nilly way he goes about his business, like this, like, it's my way or the highway sort of thing. I want to be a part of your thing, but I operate.
He's very
this way.
curious.
Yeah. And I think Paz Vizsla sees that, and he's like, on one hand, we're kind of low on recruits right now. On the other hand, this guy could screw this whole thing up for us if we give him a big leverage spot. And I don't think they fully see who this guy really is until season 3 when he does some big time stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is like, I think the point by the finale of season 3 is what we're supposed to take away from it is that there's a blending of the mainstream Mandalorians, like what like Bo-Katan is, like how we typically think of Mandalorians that can take off their helmets. Axe Woves, very cool guy. Those people.
They're all hot.
Super hot, right?
All attractive.
I mean, golly. And then the Children of the Watch, who I assume not hot except Pedro, because they don't want to take their helmets off.
I don't know. He looked pretty rough in the first season when he takes it off. You're like, I don't know.
True.
Put that back on, man. Put it back on. You're looking
Maybe
a little...
the Children of the Watch are just all of the uggos that mainline Mandalorianism exiled.
That's how they actually get in. They take their
Death
helmet
Watch
off. They're
is
like, oh yeah.
Hey, we got a new rule.
This guy's so freaking ugly. He's never going to take his helmet off. This guy's good.
Okay. I'm sorry. Now, I hate to go back to this. Din was taken by Death Watch in the flashback. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he hasn't taken his helmet off since being a kid. When did they institute that rule? The people need to know. And I do think there's a difference between them. I just had to highlight that again. Okay. So all that to say, I think there is a merging of the mainstream Mandalorians and the Children of the Watch by the end of season 3 of like, it's okay, however you want to practice Mandalorianism, we're all cool now. And I think that's what we're supposed to take away from it. I don't know what that means for Din in the movie. I think, of course, we're going to see Pedro Pascal. He's going to take his helmet off. That is 100% happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's taking his helmet off again. How do you do that after all of this in a way that's like honoring to that? I think what we're supposed to take away from the ending of season 3 is like, everyone's cool now. You can just practice the way you want to.
Yeah,
right?
like an old school guy with that name like Paz Vizsla, seeing his death in season 3, that's the part of season 3 that sticks out the most to me.
Yeah,
because it's such a slow, brutal death where you're like, maybe he gets out of it, and then like another one hits him, and you're like, oh no, and then another one hits him, you're like, oh no, and like I think he's the symbolic figure of the death of the old way. He carries a large family name. He was taken out in a very big way. Died battling to defend whoever was wearing the helmet at the time. He was just there to do the right thing. And I think that might be a symbolic death of this stringent application of these rules. Because when you see someone like that go, like, we don't know how they really feel after all of that. So I think that may have really shook everything up to the point where we get to Mandalorian and Grogu, I mean, the focus already is going to be on him and Grogu as it is. I don't think it's going to be a Mando fest in this movie.
Me neither.
I think that might be a off-screen narration choice to allow them to open things up for Mandalorian in this movie. So when people go to see it, they do get Pedro Pascal on screen, which is a big deal still, especially for Star Wars. And they do get to see him still bend the rules a little bit, re-engage his relationship with Grogu, allow Grogu to be a Mandalorian and a Jedi, and mix things up to, for lowest common denominator, better entertainment, theatrical storytelling, but in story, allowing the character that type of growth while keeping the clan of 2 being what we fell in love with, which is their own little thing.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I also always thought that him taking it off not only was when I went against the rules, but he kind of felt like once he took it off, everything kind of went too crazy for him. So he's like, I'm never taking this helmet off again. Like, everything went to S once I was like, hey guys, what's up? Everyone put it back on.
I think there's 2 different scenarios where we could see Din take his helmet off in the movie. One is like he's simply by himself putting the armor on. And we see kind of almost like a samurai type thing preparing for battle. We see nobody else is around. He's allowed to do that. He can take his helmet off and put it back on and stuff. Number 2, which would be a way more interesting thing, is someone takes his armor from him.
Or Bo-Katan kisses him.
That could work as well.
Although supposedly she's not even in the movie, so what do I know?
I don't know. The way she said that, when she said it, she said, I haven't filmed anything this year. And it's like, you guys, it would already filmed.
Cut to Anakin. Liar!
Yeah. We'll see. All right, let's get back on track with the episode. They had a duel. He goes to space TSA, has to give up his weapons, has a journey, sees a little Rodian. Green Rodian reminds him of Grogu. And he's holding the literal like armor of Grogu in a little pouch shaped like Grogu's head.
TSA is Star Tours robot.
Yes.
You're right.
The Rex, right?
Rex.
They're just like RX droids, I think.
Yeah.
Love that.
I do love them. And then he goes to Peli's hangar because he received a message about a replacement for the Razor Crest, and it is an N1 starfighter. And I remember seeing this for the first time too. It's like, oh, we're doing this. This is really cool. And I will say, I love the idea of him having a starfighter. And I know we're going back to the Razor Crest in the movie. I wish he had like a different ship that had. It's almost kind of like the Ghost, where it has like 2 ships in one. I wish there was like a scenario like that where he has like a bigger ship where he can have people on, and like,
it's like a Hess truck.
Yeah, and then he gets
Razor Crest with other things in it,
and then he gets into
batteries
the
included.
Exactly.
I think that'd be fun. I love the N1. I love the references to hot rodding culture, like, because that's a huge thing for George Lucas and has worked its way into so much of Star Wars. So to do it in a very overt way, I think is fun.
Seeing an OT beat up N1 add some realism to the saga. You're like, that ship's been like that ship. That starfighter looked awesome at one point. And now, what has that been through? Who flew that thing? And then you do see them tinkering with it. And I remember an interview in I think it was Light and Magic or something. One of the OG ILM guys was like, basically George Lucas was like, the X-Wings, are street hot rods. They're not street legal. You do whatever you want with them. And the TIE fighters are off the assembly line. They're stock. And seeing him do that with the N1 and then going up against the X-Wings in space and he blasts off, it's like George Lucas, like, if he watched that scene, he's probably like, oh, do you see how fast he went? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It was
Like
so cool.
that Mac, I agree completely. That's like old school hot rod George Lucas stuff, and I loved it.
Yeah. And just Peli Motto, love Peli.
Yeah.
She's great.
And
So ridiculous.
I also love that we got like a BD droid in this scene as well to kind of help
I forgot
them
about
build
that.
it.
Till
Yeah.
watch it.
yeah.
With his little foot, he's like
Yeah.
limping because of the Womp Rat. That was a Womp
Yeah.
Rat, right?
Yeah, there was Womp Rat.
Yes.
Did kind of a Jurassic Park thing with Peli at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so they reassemble this. We learn she used to date a Jawa, very hairy. She communicates with them. They get the parts. They build this thing. Jon Favreau loves a montage, and
Building
we get another
montage.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that man loves a building montage. And then we get a really, really cool scene of Din taking the N1 starfighter out, and like when they roll it out into the hangar, I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks pretty cool. I like that. And it's
We
just
saw it at Celebration, John and I.
Oh,
They had it at
Ooh.
Celebration, remember?
That's right. That Grogu in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That was
awesome.
Anaheim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was cool.
It's very cool. It's very big.
We're gonna try to be at this next celebration.
We gotta.
We
You
gotta
better.
go.
I
Gotta go.
hope
kidding?
so.
We haven't
gotta
been.
We've never
we
been
just,
to. I've
we've
never
just
been to
never been able to
Celebration.
make it work. I don't know.
I guess party in LA, boys.
I guess I'll just quit my job. We'll go. Yeah. So I want to say though, like this looks so like the quality of the CGI in this scene was just like when you see the N1 turning in Beggar's Canyon. It's
yeah.
just like this is awesome, and I love too like when he's flying through Beggar's Canyon. You can see on the ramp.
The ramp's
where-
still messed up where Anakin flew through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Really?
So fun.
Man.
It's still all
Oh.
broken. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's
That's
cleaned it
fantastic.
up in 50 years.
They left
Friggin'
it.
Tatooine, right? Oh, man. It's like going back to your hometown and seeing the same busted exit sign or something.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And then he takes it into space. And then of course you've got that standoff with the X-Wings and Carson Teva, who's kind of like our Agent Coulson of the Mandoverse. And I think this is another scene that kind of further solidifies Din's future relationship with the New Republic that we're going to see fully realized in the film.
Yeah.
Of like
Yeah.
him working with them. But this is just that next step towards that journey of working with them. But then when he finally sets down, he says wizard, which is like, of course he did.
He also
and
says Dank Farrik when he's first takes off with
he
it.
does. He does.
Yeah.
And Peli says that someone was trying to get in to see him as a woman, and she locked her out. And then of course Finnick is sitting on the ledge. She's in there.
Yeah.
And basically asked like, hey, Boba needs your help. Are you willing to do that? And he throws the money back and says, this one's for free. But before he does that, he needs to go see a little guy.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked that we can kind of end this episode on this conversation of like, oh, we're going right back to Grogu. I thought for at least the rest of this series, we're not getting any Grogu. Maybe we'll check in with Grogu, but that reunion isn't happening
I
yet.
think it was forced.
I think it
Yeah.
was too.
I think Disney kind of pushed the hand of like, you
I
can't
agree.
have a series without Grogu right now. Baby Yoda
Yeah.
at the time, because they didn't really get into that yet.
Like, you're not gonna include the money printing machine in your television
I mean, the
show?
package
No,
he has
we need
looks
the
like,
money printing
yeah,
machine.
it looks like Grogu and he's holding it on the shuttle, the little package with the ears. I do think it's cool though that the X-Wing pilots, obviously Carson Teva, one of my favorite characters, love Paul so much. The other guy is the guy that played Luke Skywalker in that first season? Second season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun too, that it's the same guy, because I was just like so excited that he was back doing something else, because he didn't really
Yeah.
get to be himself. He had to be someone
Right.
else's face.
It was a good touch.
I just
And
love
I'm-
how Carson Tava's clearly like, I know it's you, man. Like,
Yeah, right.
Well, and I think he wants.
and he's like, "What? Huh? Gotta go."
Like he's interested in helping Din and kind of recruiting Din, and
Yeah.
because I think he's appreciative of his anti-empire sentiments and things like that.
He's just the
Yeah.
typical cop, which I love. He's just like, I know it's you, man.
Yeah, you had the young cop who's like, well, we got to file a report. And he's like, do you really want to do paperwork?
Yeah,
He's
like, what?
I think we
Shut
can
up."
let this one go. And Mando's like, thank God.
Yeah.
Bing. I'm out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, what I don't love is we've got to come to an end on this episode and call it a quits.
Yeah.
But it was so fun having you guys on the podcast with us to talk a little Mandalorian, get ready for the movie, and just catch up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The fast
And-
hour. Thank you guys so much for
It was
having
very
us.
fast.
Yeah.
Alex,
it's
if you
been a
need to
while.
bounce, go ahead and bounce, and I can be the substitute teacher. I'll take us home. John and Lacey, yeah, thank you guys so much for being on. Tell the people what are y'all up to? Where can they find you? What you got coming up?
Go ahead, John.
Go for it, Lacey. You want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. I'm like,
Resistance
people don't realize
Broadcast.
if you're not watching video version, audio people don't realize, because I've done very good job. I mute myself every time I have to cough. It's been like every 30 seconds. So if someone's like, wow, Lacey didn't really contribute this episode, it's because I'm literally dying.
Yeah. Well, I'm super appreciative of the muting. That's gonna help me out so much. Appreciate you. a
But go ahead,
bunch.
John. Basically is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. So TRB, the Resistance Broadcast, we go live every Thursday night on YouTube and then hit podcast apps on Friday mornings. And we're a weekly Star Wars podcast. We do news, we do discussions, good friends with Alex and Mac, who are of the best that do it. So thank you guys for having us. But yeah, just follow TRB Podcast on social media, Resistance Broadcast on your favorite podcast app, and look for us on YouTube. And we also have a second podcast called Nerdy and Nice, which covers all other pop culture things on Mondays, like DC and Marvel and Hallmark movies, and really anything else we nerd out about is on Nerdy and Nice on its own podcast feed. But yeah, thank you very much, Mac and Alex, for having us. You guys are great, and we better see you guys at an upcoming Star Wars celebration.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
We'd
try to
really
make
love that.
happen.
And we can't wait. I can't wait to see what you guys think of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll have to do some kind of
Recap.
debrief. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
so fun. Thanks for having us, though. It means a lot to us that we get to be friends with cool people in this space, and you guys are
Yeah.
cool people.
Yeah, we're super appreciative of y'all as well. I think our audience knows by now, but if you don't, John and Lacey are awesome. They're very aligned with kind of how we approach Star Wars and the things we value in it and all of
Thanks,
that kind of
brother.
stuff. So
Mhm.
definitely check out everything they got going on. We really appreciate you listening. If you like what we do, we'd appreciate a 5-star review and rating on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. I don't even know if Google Play is still a thing. I haven't
don't know
put that
either,
one in
maybe.
the outro in a long time. But go leave us a rating and review if you like what we do even more and want to support us financially. For just $2 a month, get all kinds of access to bonus content at patreon.com/Mandalorian Watch. We'll be back next week as we continue the Mandalorian Rewatch. But until then, keep the watch.